First of all, reinventing yourself is not just about like getting a new haircut or getting a new wardrobe. It is about reinventing yourself from the inside out. It's about becoming the version of yourself you always knew you could be and breaking free from your own self-imposed limitations and stepping into the version of you who lives the life she desires. But the hard truth, the brutally honest truth, right, is that most people won't actually do it. They'll dream about change, they'll talk about change, they'll wish for it, maybe they'll even get started and make moves toward their goals. But once they get uncomfortable, once they hit that sort of threshold of their comfort zone, they fall right back into old habits. And I don't want that for you. I don't. If you're here, if you clicked on this video, it means you want to reinvent yourself. And I'm about to give you the brutally honest truth about how to do that most people won't tell you. So let's start with the most uncomfortable truth that no one's coming to save you. Not your parents, not your partner, not your friends, nobody, okay? And before you start feeling discouraged, let me tell you why this is actually the most powerful realization you'll have. Because if no one's coming to save you, that means you are in full control of your life. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to wait for somebody to validate your dreams. You can wake up one day and decide that you want to change. And the reinvention starts when you realize that and you start taking this like radical responsibility for where you are right now. No blaming anybody else, no blaming your circumstances, no excuses. Just the deep understanding that you are capable of creating another version of yourself and becoming a higher version of yourself. And if you really want to transform yourself, you have to be okay with discomfort. Because here's the thing, growth does not happen in comfort. It doesn't happen in your comfort zone. I'm sure you've heard that before, and it is very true. You want to be more confident, that means putting yourself in situations where you feel awkward and insecure. It's like a muscle, right? You have to train it. You put yourself in those situations until confidence becomes second nature. You want to be more disciplined. If that means waking up early, it means you wake up early. You don't snooze that alarm. It means saying no to distraction. It means doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. You want to surround yourself with better people. That means letting go of friendships that no longer serve you. We're going to get to that in a minute. And sometimes it means walking through a season of loneliness before you find your tribe. But that discomfort is what's going to help you grow. That discomfort, that space is what's going to make room for more. Now, most people never reinvent themselves because they can't sit in the discomfort long enough to change. They refuse to. They don't want to feel uncomfortable. But if you can push through, if you can stay consistent even when it sucks, you'll come out the other side a new person. Now, I briefly mentioned this before, right? And this is one of the hardest parts of reinventing yourself is that not everyone's going to come with you. Some people like the old version of you because you didn't challenge them, because you stayed small. You made them feel comfortable, right? You played along with their stories. And when you start growing, some people will resent you for it. The people that don't want to grow, the people that felt better about themselves because you kept yourself small, they'll call you different. They say, oh my God, you've changed. And you know what? They're right. You have changed for the better. And that's a good thing, right? Because the people who truly belong in your life will support you throughout your growth journey. And the ones who don't, you let them go. The same goes for people who are not willing to grow themselves. If your friends keep making excuses, keep saying they want to change, but then never actually do anything, those people are just going to hold you back. You want to surround yourself with people you look up to. You want to surround yourself with people who are going to make you grow, who are going to inspire you and encourage you. Not everyone is meant to be part of your next chapter. And once you understand that, things start to flow a little better because you're no longer afraid of letting people go. You're no longer afraid of setting boundaries. Let's move on to number 4 here. And this is where a lot of people get stuck, okay? They focus so much on doing new things, starting a business, hitting the gym, journaling, meditating, that they forget the most important part, which is actively and presently becoming the best version of yourself. Reinvention is not about the things you do, it is an identity shift. It's not just about acting confident and disciplined and successful, it is about becoming that version of you. So you want to ask yourself, how does the woman or the person I want to be think? How does she carry herself? How does she respond to challenges? My favorite question to ask myself, I've said this in so many videos, what would my ideal self do? Whenever I'm in a situation, I'm not sure what to do. Okay, well, what would my ideal self do? Would she say yes? Would she say no? Would she accept? Would she decline? You start showing up as that version of you every single day. You step into that version of you in the present moment. You're not just wishing to be that version of you. You're not just wishing for the things they have. You're actively creating it by showing up as that version of you. And at first it might feel fake. It might feel awkward, it might feel uncomfortable, but like I said before, that discomfort is where you grow and it's going to become second nature over time. That new version of you becomes your reality. One day you wake up and it clicks. You are confident. You're not uncomfortable anymore in the situations that used to make you feel uncomfortable. You are that new version of you. You're in that new reality. I actually made a reel about this the other day, how all of a sudden you've been putting in the work, you've been doing the inner work, etc. And one day everything just clicks. You are in your new reality. If you haven't seen that yet, it's on my Instagram. And if you're not following me on Instagram, I'm at the Merlina Azul. I'd love to connect with you there. So go ahead and give me a follow. And before we move on to the last one, if you've been enjoying this video, if you found any value in it so far, I'd love to ask you to join the community here on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. And once you do that, let's move on to number 5. So here's something that I don't really hear people talk about too often, and it's that there is no final version of you. Reinvention is not a one-time thing. It is a lifelong process. You're always evolving, you're always growing, you're always shedding off different layers of yourself and stepping into new timelines. And that's beautiful, right? Because the moment you stop growing is the moment you start settling. And you were not put on this earth to settle, my love. You were put here to expand and to grow and to evolve. You were put here to transform, to step fully into your power and become the most unstoppable version of yourself. The way I think about it, and I think I have a picture here in this notebook, so give me 1 second to pull it up because I've also explained this in a reel before. Hold on. I'm wasting time because I can't find it, so I'm just going to redraw it for you, okay? First of all, this is something I do want you to look at and something that I had here before. So this is the current you. Every choice you make, every action you take, your thoughts, your beliefs, turn you into one of these versions of yourself, and one of these right here is your ideal self, right? So this is a version of you you want to become. So this is what I was talking about earlier with like, what would your ideal self do, right? Would your ideal self do this or not? How would your ideal self think about themselves? What do they believe about themselves? Everything you do turns you into a future version of yourself. You want everything you do to be so aligned with this version of yourself that you become them. So that's the first thing. But what we're talking about now is that there is no final version of you, right? So the way I like to think of personal growth is it has these layers, right? So if you guys are aware of the RISE framework, you know that the first step is to reflect. You reflect on yourself, right? You intend, you set intentions. This is what the RISE acronym stands for: reflect, intend, strategize, and evolve. The next one is your strategy. So this is the plan you have for becoming your ideal self. This is the actual actions that you take every day to become that ideal self. And last but not least is the evolution. This is becoming the ideal self. Once you reach this level, these are your goals, your aspirations of your current self. This new version of you, this is a new version of you. They have a new identity that they want to embody. They have new goals, new aspirations, bigger ones, right? So you step into a new timeline. You're here at this new identity, and then you do it all again. You reflect on this new version of you because this is a different person. This is a new version of you. So you have to learn about them. You have to reflect again. You have to set new intentions. You have to have a new strategy in order to become this next level version of you, and so on and so forth. Now, I want to make a separate video about this because a lot of people are like, well, if you just keep growing, you can never focus on the present. Baby, it's all about the present. It's all about how you show up today. Having goals and having aspirations doesn't mean that you're only focused on the future. It actually helps you be more present if you do it right. Let me know in the comments if you want another video on this because I could go on about that for a while, but that's essentially it, okay? So my question to you for today is, are you ready to do the work? Because the life you want isn't just going to fall into your lap. It is waiting for you to claim it. And listen, yes, there are days when it's going to be hard. There are days when it's going to feel like shit, when you doubt yourself, when you want to hold yourself back, where you want to fall into old patterns. Don't let that happen. That is the moment that matters the most. That's when you show up anyway. That's when you prove to yourself, this time it's different. This time I'm actually following through. This time I'm not just dreaming about change or wishing for something, I'm becoming it. And I promise you, you got this, okay? And none of this is made to discourage you or make you feel like reinvention is unattainable. It's this really difficult thing, because it's not. It's actually really simple. And if you know my story, you know that I came from very little. My parents immigrated to America with nothing. And a few years ago, my life looked very different than it does now. But here I am, and if it's possible for me, it's possible for anyone, including yourself, who's willing to put in the effort and feel uncomfortable, sit in that discomfort and push through it. And if you're ready to do that, if you're ready to start this journey, drop the secret emoji in the comments to let me know that you're here with me, to let me know that you're stepping into a new version of yourself in 2025. And if this video resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe, and share this with somebody you want to level up with this year. As always, never forget that the journey of self-discovery and self-development is everlasting, so keep doing the inner work, keep taking aligned action, and until next time, I wish you all the very best in health and happiness. Bye!